Don't try me. Don't try me. I saw Evie said, I hope Melly rereads all 30,000 pages of the text messages. Do you want me to? Evie, for you, I'll do it. Let's get started. Hello, welcome back. We are back. Thinking out loud. Yes, all day Melly Lights. We did do Karen Reed. I was gonna fit in Kelsey Fitzsimmons, but I might want to do an After Dark. So if you're not familiar with an After Dark, get familiar with it. Hi, welcome back. Recite them by heart, the text messages. Yes, you guys are saying yes to reread the text messages. I don't know. I feel like it would even be more interesting to read them back over because we already went through like the first set. Okay, we took it in, our brain tried to comprehend. Now our brain has taken that information in. We've talked about it, and now we can watch it, read all the text messages again. And now we know like what's coming, but we also can dive deeper into it. But don't you guys worry. I have like a month of Kanzi. Molly, can you talk English? No. Kenzie content. I have like a month of it. So if you guys thought you were going anywhere, you're wrong. Because I would come find you at your house. Okay. Do you guys think you're gonna just D&D me? Absolutely not. No, no. No, no. Hi, babelets. Just never stop reading them, said I'll saying, okay. Okay. After we're done today, we're gonna restart all over. So get ready for it. Debbie, Carrie, Tony, hello, hello. Hi, Cree. Shout out to my mods. I saw APA came a member in the other live. Tippy, hello, Bob. Hello, Lisa, Debbie, Jennifer, Evie. Hello, hello, Kiraha. Okay, everyone's here back from the last live. Blocked. No, I never went. Okay, we have to do all her social media stuff. We're gonna read through text with Stevo and who did I say earlier? Rosie and Grace. I don't know how long they are, but we'll read them. And no GMOs, please. Okay, thank you. Pulling up the text messages. We are on. Are you blocking us? No, no, no. Never. Freaking Twilight Zone says Cree. What if we do read the text messages again? I wonder if people on the internet will tell me I'm crazy. We are June 2022 of the text messages, and the exact date is the 8th. That's what my notes say we left off on. Let me double check. Who is blowing me up? They got to go on D&D because don't they know I'm up here reading these texts? Okay. No, it was no one, by the way. It was just YouTube. Let's see. Doesn't YouTube know that I'm up here right now? Let's see. I don't remember exactly what was going off, but I know we left off in the middle of June. You've been watching on the TV. Okay, you've been watching me on the TV. Was it Natalie? I don't know. If a block number starts calling me, yeah, it's Natalie. Okay. Hey, Jules, let's see. Let's get started. June 8th. I need to go back a little bit. A few pages. Where did we leave off on? And hi, everyone. Welcome. Thank you for being here. I always forget to introduce myself. We're just hopping right into it, baby. Right into it. Welcome. Thank you for being here. My name is Melly. This is my house. You are welcome here. All is welcome here, as long as you have a good time and stay respectful. We're going over Mackenzie Shirilla text. Do I need to say any more? There is a whole playlist of like 70 Mackenzie lives. So go eat your heart out. Thank you for the support. Let's see. He says, you want to go or you need me to come? She says, I would rather go in. Okay, so they were going to pick up food. She says, I would rather go in. Dom says, you want to go or do you need me to come? He says, I want to curbside it for real, but we could go in. Kenzie says, can you just get it with me? Dom says, can you get me? I'm cross-eyed. Oh, yeah, because they were fighting so much. Party at Melly's. Yeah. Party at Melly's, but I was going to say not like Natalie Shirilla. Scooping. Hey, Shanta. They were fighting, remember? And he was like, my eyes, we've been fighting all day. Poor Dom. This is about a month and a half before he gets murdered into a brick wall. He says, "Can you get me? I'm cross-eyed. Be there at 9:20. It is the 8th at 9:10 p.m." She says, "Okay." She says, "Coming." She says, "Here, here, question mark, question mark, question mark. Can we go back? You just effed up." Okay, wait, let's go back to the dates. So it goes, oh, okay, yeah. So it was the 8th. And then she says, "Can we go back on the 9th?" And then it jumps to the 10th. And she says, "You just effed up at 1:06 p.m." She says, "Now you're going to apologize for that too." Dom says, "How?" She says, "You keep trying to argue. Then you say that. Sounds like you're the one trying to argue. I'll be waiting for an apology." She says, "Actually, I'm leaving in 10 minutes if this isn't fixed." She says, "I have that on video." Bitch. Threaten my family again. Leaving in 1 minute. Okay, so they were obviously fighting. Oh, geez. They were fighting. She got something on video. He probably was going crazy. You guys know if you know. She says, "Threaten my family again." So, oof. Like, don't be slow and don't be dry. Thanks, Melly. I'm sorry, that's hecka funny. I'm already annoyed again. I know. Thank you, Lakeside, for the super chat. I appreciate you, babe. Yeah, we're gonna be here till 2030 at this point. So get your little planners because we might have to restart these text messages because like half of you said yes. Respect the garden. Um, please. He says, "I ain't threatened nobody, Kenzie." She says, "I'll be waiting." You did. Dom says, "Nah, you still blackmailing me." Oh my God. Because this is why he stayed with her. This is why he dealt with her for so long and wasted 3 years of his life because she was always threatening him and blackmailing him. He says, "Nah, you still blackmailing me. Saying you have shit on video. Snitch." She says, "If you're smart as you say you are, you will fix this. I will do worse than blackmail you if you do anything to my family." Wow. Thank you. Thank you, Tiff. Tiff Bablet gifted a membership and looks like Farmero got it. Welcome, Farmero. Thank you, Tiff. Love and appreciate you. Really helps the channel. Wasted his entire life. I know. I know. We're screaming right now. She says, "I will do worse than blackmail you if you do anything to my family." Dom says, "I would never do anything to your family, Kenzie," which is so true. So, so true. He says, "Your family has never done anything to me." She says, "Yeah, I'm not believing that." Dom says, "Nor even has a reason." Kenzie says, "You're right. You have only done things to them, like calling them broke and living 9 to 5. Is that bad? Hey, Ruth, is that bad? Like, it was true. That doesn't mean that he wants to hurt them." She says, "And threatening to shoot my dad." Did I forget about that? I guess he must have done that in person or something. Ooh. Dom threatened to take out Steve? Well, not that I'm saying it would be okay. I am not saying that at all. I'm just saying that must have been in person because I don't think I remember that in the text. But again, so much happened throughout the text. That's probably why we do need to reread them. I would like to take notes as well. So she can talk smack about his family, but heaven forbid. And yeah, I know. She says, "And threatening to pew pew my dad. If you think you could do anything to them, you're slow." Okay, so I am leaving. So are you saying you're incapable of fixing anything? So are you saying you're incapable of fixing anything? She sends that 2 times. He says, "I never did. You're twisting my words." She says, "No, I'm not. I don't care. You're belittling my feelings, per usual." He says, "No, Kenzie, you're twisting my words. I didn't say that." He says, leave then if you're going to twist my words. She says, stop typing my name. So are you saying you're incapable of fixing anything? She sends that twice. He says, Kenzie, you're twisting my words. I literally swore to God, swore on my mama what I said, and you still think I was saying that shit. I don't want to talk to you if you're twisting my words. Please just leave. She says, you think I believe anything that comes out of your mouth? Your apologies mean nothing. Your actions show no change. You are abusive. You threaten my family and badmouth them. You want me to be alone and have no friends. Okay. Did she forget everything she said and did? Like, what the hell? How many times did she threaten her friends? Remember when she was like, I'm going to beat Blair's ass. Blair's not going to be able to walk over here anymore. You know, like all of those stupid threats. I don't remember threatening the dad. It must have been in person. Yeah, shut up, Kenzie. He says he says, "You manipulated my family." No, Kenzie, I want you to find better friends who ain't gonna bring you down. She says, I don't even talk to or about your family, but thanks. Yeah, you just uh, verbally abuse him the day that he's at the hospital with his mom. That's all. When did he threaten family? I guess he did. I don't know if that's true or not. Must have been like an in-person thing, not via the text, because I'm sure it would have been included in the text. I don't think I remember it or us missing it. Dom says, family was typo. She says, I would love to have some examples. Dom says, you manipulate me. Kenzie said, just like you abuse me and force me to do things. She says, so you're incapable of fixing this? Let me know now. She says the same thing. So you're incapable of fixing this? He says, leave my house. I don't feel comfortable with you here. She says, so you're incapable of fixing this? When I leave, we will be done forever, and I will be telling my parents exactly what you said about them. So let me know. You do not care that you hurt me. You know you don't. So are you incapable of fixing this? He says, I do, but you're twisting my words. So I'm not going to talk to you. She says, no, you don't. He says, and you're trying to blackmail me. Kenzie says, you do not care that you hurt me, and you say effed up and abusive things to me. Dom says, so until you can prove you're not a snitch or trying to blackmail me, I want you to leave. Oh, yeah. hmm Dom was so done. This is exactly why she took him out. For reals. Let me get a drink of water. She's ridiculous. He didn't force her to do anything. No, he didn't. He says, I want you to leave. She says, if you don't care about how I feel, then I'm not going to be in a relationship. You have no love for anyone but yourself. Money changed people into evil, abusive people, and you're letting it happen. Dom actually changed for the better, dude. Like, you can't lie to us. We saw it. Dom says, Kenzie, I can't take you serious until you show you're not trying to blackmail me or snitch on me. Kenzie says, I can't take you serious until you stop threatening my family, abusing me, and making me feel, I think she meant unloved. That she says loved. She says, but to be honest, I didn't think you have any love in your heart. You think I would have gotten back with you if I knew you would have treated me like this in 4 years? Dom says, see, this is why I'm done talking to you. You twisting my words. He says, leave. She says, no, you're going to grow up and fix this because this is all your fault. Because I tried to communicate that I feel like you're being mean. Dom says, no. She says, but your communication skills are ass. He says, you're twisting my words. She says, and you're abusive. She says, you can't even explain yourself because all you care about is yourself. Dom says, I'm not talking to you till you can not twist my words. Kenzie says, I'm not leaving until you fix this. Dom says, no snitching or blackmailing. Wow, imagine to have to tell your girlfriend of 4 years that. That's wild. Literally wild. If she calls him abusive one more effing time, I know. It's wild. Go, Dom, go. I know. She says, and if you leave, we're so done. I'll be letting my parents know everything. Why does she keep threatening with her parents? Her parents were also doing rugs or smoking or whatever they were doing. Like, why? Why she threaten her parents? But like, what do they have on Dom? Because they weren't the most perfect people. They were doing shit. They enabled her. They were smoking with kids in the house when she was running the damn daycare. So, like, what do you mean? I don't get why she always threatens that. Her parents let her live with him. Yeah, I know. But like, okay, so tell Natalie. What is Natalie gonna do? Call the police? For what? Smoking weed. She was doing it too. I don't know. Didn't they kick her out? Yeah, they wanted her to go live at Dom's. They didn't want to support her or have her living there at their house. Obviously, Dom was afraid of pissing Steve and Natalie off or something, right? She says, and if I leave, we're so done and I'll be letting my parents know everything. And you still have to apologize, but I know you can't figure it out. Why? Because you think you're so smart. She says, I'm waiting. Keep showing me you don't care about my feelings or this relationship. He said, Kenzie, you can't be trying to snitch on me or twist my words. She says, each minute you wait, the more proof shows. Kenzie says, she better not be in the driveway. Tell him now. That it was the end of the 10th, and that was at 7:42 p.m. And then it jumps to the next day at 4:05 p.m. She says, where you at? He said, oops, love you. She says, my mom just pissed me off. So she's threatening Dom with snitching to her mom, but then she's going to start talking shit about Natalie here. My mom just pissed me off. She's so retarded. Dom says, what did she do? Kenzie says, she made graduation invites and used bad pictures. Like, what the F? Now I can't even keep any as a keepsake. Dom says, oh, damn, yeah, she should have asked you. Kenzie says, I'm so mad. Dom says, where did we go yesterday? I need my phone. She said, Allison's, Giant Eagle. He says, where could I have left it? Where else? Oh, he lost his rug phone. She says, I don't know. She says, I don't know. He says, I want to say I had it when we got home. Kenzie said, you had to have. Dom says, try to think for me. This isn't good. Dom says, Kenzie says, I'm trying, but I don't know. Dom says, let me know if you happen to know anything. She says, I will, and send pics of dinner. He says, I got you. Then he says, how is your dinner? At 8:48, she sends a picture of her dinner. She says, good AF. I'm coming home soon. Dom said, looks gas. She says, I'll bring fry. Do you want? He says, yeah, I'll take whatever you bring. LOL. Love you. She says, how long till you leave? Let me know. Smokey wants to come inside, she says at 9:46 p.m. He says, I don't know. We all put in food, so couldn't be too long. She says, oh, y'all haven't ate? He said, just waiting for it to come out. She says, damn. Smokey wants to come inside. Feel bad for leaving her alone out there. Dom says, no, Ashish was late too. Kenzie said, of course he was. Dom says, I'm just dying in the bathroom right now. Kenzie says, are you okay? With a bunch of question marks. He says, no. She says, do you want me to come get you? What's going on? He says, I don't know what to do. She says, are you puking? He says, no, I'm shitting my ass off. She says, oh God. He says, about to throw up. She says, want me to come get you? I can come right now. Just let me come. He says, I don't know. She says, let me know because I'm worried. They won't care if you're sick and need to go. He says, yeah, you can come. She said, okay, send me the address. She said, Morton's, I'm going to take your car. He said, yes, Morton's. And then she sends a screenshot of the map. She said, this? He said, yes. Wait. She says, what? He said, I'm starting to feel better. She says, let me know. Tell me because I'm in the car. Or just tell Angela you need to leave ASAP. Dom says, just wait a sec. By the time you get here, we'll be leaving. She says, I'm sitting back down. Let me know if you want me to come. He says, yes, I'm good now. I'm just not going to eat anything else. She says, do they know you're sick? He said, yes. I wonder why she didn't go. She says, "Okay, I put water in the fridge for you when you're home, so it will be cold. We can watch Stranger Things or you can go to bed." She says, "Did you puke?" He says, "I ate bread and was fine, but then I tried to eat Wagyu meatballs." Is that how you say it? And almost threw up. Have we had this conversation about that before? Because I don't know if I've ever had that. Is it meat? Then I probably haven't. He says, "No, I didn't." What is that? Um, Dom says, "I hit my pen. That just helped a lot." Kenzie says, "Okay, good." Dom says, "Damn, I walked out for a second and now I'm locked out." Kenzie said, "WTF, where are you?" Question mark, question mark, question mark. Or just ignore me. That's cool. She says, "On the phone with Celeste. Now it's the 12th at 12:39 p.m. He says, "I'm on the way home." She said, "Bet. Let me know when you're home." She says, "Let me know." He said, "I'm home." She says, You didn't get any pictures with me in my graduation outfit." Dom says, "True. We should have took one when I came back to your house." She said, "It's sad." Dom said, "I know. Didn't we? I didn't know we asked your mom how long we should stay and she said we could go." Kenzie said, "I'm sad you didn't stay." Dom says, "I know. I didn't know, babe." "How is canoeing or paddleboarding?" She says, "It's scary. I'm far AF in the lake." He says, "Which lake?" She says, "In Lodi." He says, "It ain't showing exactly where it is." She says, "It's in Lodi Park." Then she says, "Want to go to Whole Foods at 5:48 and get chips?" Oh, I guess she said chops. She says, "I'll make potatoes." Question mark. He says, "I gotta marinate them though." She says, "Can you go right now? I'm on the way home." He says, "I don't want to make those tonight. We can make something else." She says, "Want to make potatoes?" Allison's is closed. He said, "We can do potatoes. We have red skin." She says, "I know, I want them. We need more than just that though." He says, "I know." He says, "I'm trying to think of something." She says, "What do you have in mind?" "We can do steaks." She says, "Heinen's." He says, "I'll get you a steak and I'll just eat my leftover steak." She said, "Nah, why can't we both eat steak?" Dude, why don't you just let him eat what he wants? Like, you know what I mean? Hey, y'all. Magoo is what? Somebody, oh, is good beef. Oh, okay. Well, eat your heart out, Babelets. Apparently, clearly, I didn't know that. Hey, proving Carlina, she's on the lake, way out. I don't know how she's on her phone. I guess if Dom didn't have rugs or money, she wouldn't given him the time of day. Nope. She says, "Why can't we both eat steak?" Dom says, "No, it's fine." She says, "Why?" He says, "Because mine will go to waste. My leftover one. I'd rather eat that first." She says, "Okay, well, want to go get a steak? And I'm a shower, then come." He says, "I don't want that much steak, you know?" She says, "Why? Want to go get a steak right now so we can make food ASAP?" He says, "You can't go get the steak." She says, "And watch Stranger Things." She says, "I'm going to shower." Kenzie said, "I just said that." And she puts a ton of question marks. She says, "Okay, well, I guess we'll just make potatoes." She says, "No wonder you're being weird. WTF. Good. No effort." Dom says, "I mean, I don't really want to go to Heinen's just to get a steak, but I'll go in a little." She says, "It's okay. Give the effort to Blair." I feel like he's just so done with her. I do. Jill says Melly loves veggie burritos. Um, he is so done with her. He's like checked out of the relationship. She said, "It's okay. Give the effort to Blair since you love him so much." He says, "LOL." Kenzie says, "Did you get it?" She says, "I just got out of the shower, so you had a ton of time. Why haven't you texted me?" And it's 3:27 p.m. now. Oh, wait. She says, "I just got out of the shower. You had so much time." So I'm assuming she's talking about the steak. Then it jumps to the 13th at 3:27 p.m. She says, "Why haven't you texted me?" He says, "Texting a million people my new telegram. What's up with you?" She says, "Did you find the phone?" He said, "Nope." She says, "WTF." He says, "I know, right? WTF." Went everywhere too. Kenzie said, "It has to be somewhere." She says, "Why are you not texting me at 4:30?" He says, "What do you mean? I was just texting you." Kenzie says, "You stopped." Dom says, "Yeah, I ain't think there was nothing else to say. When are you coming back?" She was like, "I don't know. I wanna come back now." Dom says, "Where are you at?" She said, "Chippewa Lake?" I think that's how you say that. Dom says, "I've been looking at houses in different countries. They got houses in Brazil for 500." Kenzie says, "I would go." Dom says, "LOL, nah." She says, "Why?" Dom says, "You don't wanna go." She says, "Yes, I do." He sends a picture of it. She says, "We can make it cute." Oh my god, he was trying to leave her. Jules, you better not be talking shit. She's like, she likes carrots and celery. I do. Hey, pumpkin. Hey, pumpkin. Um, Good to see you. Oh, she says, okay, so wait, was Dom trying to leave to another country? That's why she had to take him out. Was that it? Was that one of the things? Why are you not constantly telling me how great I am? Yeah, why are you guys not telling me that? You better chase. I know. Question mark, question mark? Yeah, he says he was looking at houses in Brazil. She says we could make it cute, renovate. She says, "Want to go to Luca maybe?" Or no. He says places like those you can't. He totally doesn't want her to go. He was like, "Nah." He's like leaving the damn country. She was leaving he was trying to leave the country. She murdered him. That's how much he was trying to get away from her. He was literally looking to move to other country. Did you guys know that? I didn't know that. Oh, thank you, Proving, Carlina. Thank you so much for your hard work. I couldn't get through these texts without you all. Respect always, pumpkin. Okay, well, you better. I hate her so much. Well, you better be here for round two, baby. Round two. Deuces, Kenzie. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate you. It was many things, Melly. I know, I know. Okay, let's move on. She says, Dom says, oh, he sends a picture of the house in Brazil, a different one. Wow. Oh, no, he said this is in the Virgin Islands. Wow. He was like really looking at different places. He said, this is in the Virgin Islands. This would be a move. She says, I would go. It's pink. She says, I'm on the way home. She says, I seriously want to KMS. I hate her music so much. It's all TikTok songs. Who, who's she talking about? Then she says, I don't even know how to describe this. I hate it. Then she questions her message about want to go to Luca. Dom says, remember, every kid playlist was Vine songs. Kenzie says, it's not even Vine songs. It's like weird shit. She keeps skipping good songs too. Dom says, I know, I'm saying reminds me of fifth grade. Kenzie says, want to go to Luca or no? He says, oh no, that's too much. I haven't made much money since Friday. She says, okay. He says, when are you going to be back? She says, I'm home at 6:33 p.m. She says, I just got out of the shower. She says, I'm scared. Oh, wait. She says, I just got out of the shower at 6:33 p.m. and then it jumps to the 14th at 3:50 in the morning. She says, I'm scared. She says, don't even try to be cool with me tomorrow. We have problems. Now we definitely have problems. He says, say what you want. I'm out here doing the most. And you can't lift a finger. Kenzie says, you go think that, quote unquote, doing the most. Dom says, every night you've slept in my room. I don't think I've ever even seen you look for the remote. And you're the one who needs it. Kenzie says, I don't know what happened to you, Dom. I would never call me names and treat me this way. It sounds like he's like acting up and treating her even worse and worse and worse because he wants to get away. That's really crazy. She says, stop texting me and making me even more depressed at 4:15 a.m. He says, you're not helping me at all, though. Like everything is on me. Like, let me come get you from the living room. Look for the remote for 20 minutes when I should be sleeping. Then you just get mad because I can't find it and leave. but you don't wanna look at all. But you're mad because I can't find it. Makes a lot of sense. When the remote is for you. Like, for now, you just be in charge of the remote. You're the one who uses it. Dom says, "I think we need a week apart for a reset." This is on the 14th. Oh my gosh, it's on the 14th, and he is like, "I need a break. I need a reset." Oh, I'm screaming. Wow. I Yeah, the reset he got, though, was to be unalived. I seriously think she could not imagine Dom with anybody else, like, absolutely 1000% sure, like, I am so sad. Why are we getting to the end of these? And I truly, truly feel for Dom, like, not me gonna cry. No, I truly do feel for him. Why does she have to be so complicated? I don't know. Was it really that hard for her to move on to somebody else? Hmm. He says, "I think we need a week apart for a reset. Now I can't sleep." She says, "I don't do breaks." He says, "Not a break." She said, "Come back and get me." She says, "Never mind." Now it's 1:52 PM. She says, "Should not have let you touch me today." This happened close to me. Oh, yeah. I think I remember you saying that before, Barbie Jean. I know. I really want to know what happened that day. I know. She says, "I should not have let you touch me today. Stop being mean to me." He says, "Kenzie, I'm not being mean." She says, "You are." He says, "You're going and telling on the kid with video proof. That's snitching." She said, "It's doing good for the community. This is just like you supporting the guy that shot his girlfriend, trying to say he's innocent when obviously he's not. If you think you're being mean, then you are, and you should care." Dom says, "No, it's not, Kenzie. They got a little bumper accident. I'm sure whatever happens will be fine." Kenzie says, "I don't care if it's fine or not. If there's kids in the car, it's not okay. Either way, it's not okay, okay?" He says, "So if some kid hit another at recess, you'd go tell the principal?" "No, it's the same shit. Just mind your own business, you know?" Kenzie says, "Are you gonna be nice when I come back? I think I just seen Tyler walking down Peril." Okay, they're fighting. It's getting crazy. And then she brings up her ex. Tyler's her ex. We're gonna revisit all of this too, babes. All the stuff. We need to go back and revisit because I have questions. She says, "I just seen Tyler down Pearl. Why is she bringing up her ex?" I'll be like, "Get the out of here." Dom says, "I don't think he told me." Wait, that's her ex, right? Or is that their friend? Am I tripping? Somebody tell me I'm tripping because that's her ex, right, Tyler? She should be made, yeah. He says, I think he told me he was at the dentist." But why would Dom be talking to him? Hmm. Trying to make him jealous? That is the ex. I'm almost certain. Hmm. Yes. Yes. Oh, they were all cool. Okay, thanks, Barbie. Dom says, "I think he told me he was at the dentist because I told him cop at church." Oh. Kenzie says, "Are you gonna be nice when I come back?" Dom says, I wasn't being mean or trying to." Kenzie said, "And it was old people that got hit." Dom says, "I'd rather avoid cops." Kenzie says, "Maybe they see you're actually trying to be good or not shady and they will stop watching you." Dom says, "I don't speak pig Latin. I'm not gonna be buddy buddy with pigs to help myself." Kenzie says, "Thanks. I'm not buddy buddy with them either. I would rather not talk to police either. But if I could help a civilian, specifically old people that got into a car accident, I'm going to help them." That wasn't for the cops. It was for the people. Kenzie, quit being a snitch. More than one Tyler? I don't know. Maybe. She does this shit like all the time. I know. Yeah, she did have one Tyler doing her homework. That's her ex, though. I know that that's her ex's name. Did Kenzie ever do her homework? No. She says that wasn't for the cops, that was for the people. Dom says, yeah, I understand, but cops got it handled. They can tell who did what wrong. Kenzie said, sometimes they can't, and you never know. You ready to go? Soon. He says, I'm still taking a shit. I just want to eat breakfast, brush my teeth, and wash my face. We should pack a bunch of fruit to go there. She says, I'm down. She says, I can bring that one bag, the waterproof bag. He says, bring whatever bag. She says, what one? The one we got from Allison's or waterproof? He says, I'm not worried about water. I'm more worried about sand. She said, okay, then let's do the Allison's one. Sand will get stuck in the other one. He says, bring that one you can carry that the sun is going to torch everywhere. She says, but that will keep our fruit nice and cold in our drinks. He says, I don't know. The bag is black. I feel like everything's going to get hot. She says, I can carry both of them. She says, true. Dom says, last time all of our shit got hot AF. Kenzie says, well, then do you want to bring all black one? It keeps my drinks and phone cold. Phone? Yeah, it keeps my drinks and cold phone. Dom says, yeah, we can just do that. Kenzie said, okay, cool. This is the 15th now at 11:23 a.m. She says, I'm about to be ready. She says, I want to go ASAP. WTF? Where even are you? Can we go? And then she sends pictures of chairs. Okay, and it jumps to the 16th. So he says, I don't really like those, to be honest. Maybe chairs for kitchen if I got that table I wanted. She sends more chairs. She said the chairs were only $5 each. And then she's sending books. And she says, you need to answer that fast. Then she's sending more chairs, like links to chairs. She says 342. He says, what I need at my house for real could be couch, kitchen table, maybe dining room table. She said 3466 Clover is the bar stools. She's sending links. He says, we could tan in those. He says, I have these red chairs already, though. They're brand new. Then she's sending more links. She says, the TV stand. And then she's sending like a poster or frame. She says, it would be cute for your house. He says, how much for the TV stand? If it's really cheap, I'll probably take it. Then she sends an address. She says, that's a picture for your wall. Dom says, I don't know if I want that picture. And then she sends something out, like she's sending tables and stuff. He said, is it scratched up bad? I don't know if I like the color. And then she sends more tables. He says, I don't know. Or I take that glass TV stand from the other house. She says, it has a red hint to it. Of course you want the one thing I forgot where it is. Dom says, yeah, I don't know if I like that table. That's the only thing I texted you that I would want, babe. And then she's sending a TV picture. He says, what is that? And then she sends a car picture, I think. He says, what is that? She keeps sending stuff. She says 22K, 34K, 1991. Okay, so it's a car. Dom says, can you get body wash for me? She says, from Allison's? Dom says, sure. She says, come. And then she sends a picture of, I don't know who that is. And then it jumps to 17th. And she says, not it, at 4:12 p.m. He says, I have someone waiting for me at the mall right now. I'm just trying to be quicker. She says, what the F? Dom says, what do you mean? She says, just making sure you didn't fall asleep. Jumps to 11:38 p.m. He says, no, about to spit my verse. She says, I'm annoyed AF. My mom told me no. Oh, wait, my mom told me 12. but we're leaving at 12:30. Wait, did it jump to the next day? He says, "No, I'm about to spit my verse." Yeah, that was on the 17th at midnight. Then it jumps to the 18th, and she says around noon, "I'm annoyed AF. My mom told me 12, but we're leaving at 12:30. I could have 8." Dom says, "Damn, are they late or they just tell you the wrong time?" Kenzie said, "She's gonna give you 20." Dom said, "What?" Kenzie said she gave 40 last time. She's paying $20 for the cart. Paul's grad party is today. She says, "I'm so annoyed." Dom says, "Why, Nug?" She says, "I want to go to Paul's at 4." And then she says, "I don't even want to go anymore." He says, "Paul's grad party probably not going to be that good." She says, "I don't care. I still want to go for him." Dom says, "What time you be back from Toledo?" She says, "Hopefully," is that how you say it? Toledo. Oh, someone said in the comments, um, it's Toledo or Toledo. I don't know. Don't come for me. Um, she says, um, hopefully 4:30 or 5. Dom says you could probably still go. She's sending a picture, I think, of a keychain. She says, "My mom got you this and me, LOL." Dom says, "What does she think we're doing?" He says, "I need that for my Viagra." Kenzie said, "She said it's for weed, LMAO." Dom said, "Makes sense." She says, "I want pesto." Dom says, "You got some leftover?" She said, "Also, come to Paul's with me." Dom says, "Babe, I don't know." She says, "Please come." He says, "Is it going to be like his family?" Kenzie says, "I don't know. Maybe." Dom says, "I don't even know him. I'm going to feel weird there." Kenzie says, "Please come. I don't want to go alone." He says, "Rosie isn't going or something?" Kenzie said, "She is. I want you to come." Dom says, "When do we go? I need food. When are you going to be back?" Kenzie says, "Right now." She says, "I'm about to be home." She says, "Are you ready?" Dom says, "You want me to come to Paul's at 5:37 p.m.?" She says, "Yes, please." She says, "We're driving to Dallins a little after Paul's. Should I eat pesto before Paul's?" Dom said, "Probably." She says, "Okay, can you make me noodles?" Dude, does she not know how to make noodles? Hey, Marvin, does she not know how to make noodles? Like, what? Oh, see, Toledo. Thank you, Bablet. Toledo, not Toledo. Hey, Mary Beth, I'm good. My butt's good. She says, "Okay, can you make noodles?" She says, "I'm gonna get my car then. I'm passing the rib burn off right now." I don't know what that means. He says, "Getting the water from next door right now." She says, "Okay, I love you. Thank you, Nug." He says, "Water is on the stove. Get over here." She says, "On the way." She says, "What do you mean get over here? I told you I'm coming. I had to go home and get my car." He says, "What do you mean? What do you mean?" She says, "I told you I'm coming. So obviously I'm already getting here. So I don't know why you're texting me that." He says, "Okay, Kenzie, chill." She says, "I'm chill." Dom says, "There was nothing behind that text. Nothing rude or angry or anything." Kenzie says, "Are you trying to say my last text was rude or angry? Like, what are you saying right now?" He said, "No. I'm saying I didn't mean anything." Dom says, "Why are you trying to fight?" She says, "I know you didn't mean anything, but I'm confused why you said it. What I'm saying, why you said it is what I'm saying, but never mind because I'm already here. I'm not trying to fight. I was just saying I'm confused. Stop thinking that." Dom says, "Oh, okay." Kenzie says, "Coming soon." Oh, wait, that was the end of the 18th. And then she says, "Coming soon" on the 19th. She says, "Sorry, though, it's taking so long." And then she sends a picture of a map. He says, "What is that?" She says, "That's where my shoot is. It's an old school." She says, "I'm about to come back." Dom said, "What school? Is it abandoned?" She said, "Like, I have to go to bed because I'm doing shit tomorrow early and I just wanted to finish the last episode of Stranger Things. But of course, you can't even do that." She says at 9:41 p.m. Dom says, "I'm sorry, these dudes fried hitting nitries." Nitries? LOL. Like like, what does that mean? Nitrates? Is that like the can rug? What? Bet she learned how to make noodles in prison. No, I heard that too. I know I did. I heard it. Yeah, oxide gas. Oh, okay, so it's like the huffing stuff? Whippets? Oh, so he was into that too? Jeez. Hmm. He says, "They're just hitting nitrates." He says, "I've been here 20." She says, "I don't care." She says, "Bruh, how long?" He says, 10:50. She says, "Bruh." He says, "It was tonight or never. I got a good deal." Kenzie said, "What?" He says, "I had to come out tonight or it was not come at all. So I came tonight and got a good deal." He says, "Are you up?" At 10:51 PM. She says, "Yes." Question mark, question mark. "I want to watch Stranger Things. I told you." He says, "Just didn't know if I should be quiet." She says, "Okay." And that was at 10:52, and then it jumps to the 20th at 9:54 AM. She says, "Are you coming?" He says, "Yeah, on the toilet." "When you gonna swoop?" She says, "In like 15, 10." She says, Dom says, "Where are we going again? Do we need protection? Do we need protection?" I know Dom's always on the toilet. Um, she protection from what? Because of the rugs, huh? He was scared. He's gonna be someone that was gonna try to rob him of the rugs. He says, "Do we need protection?" She says, "We're going to Euclid." Euclid? I don't know what the hell that is. What the helly? And I can't see that screenshot, but it was like a text message or something. Dom says, "Is a 9 millimeter in your trunk though?" He didn't say the full part. I added it. Um, she says, "Dude, don't even let me." Wait. Okay. Hey, beautifully broken. She says, "Don't even tell me that. I'll go look." Dom says, "I should be. Let me find a couple 9 rounds." Wait, what? She says, "Don't even tell me that. I'll go look." Dom says, "I should be. Let me find a couple 9 rounds." Kenzie says, "I'm looking." Dom says, "They in there. I just need 9 millimeter." She said, "It's in there." Dom said, "I know. I just got a couple rounds here. I don't know about nines." She says, "I'm on the way. I'm on the way. I'm here." Dude, what did he need that for? They have pew pew? Shit, like, how many rugs did he have on him? I know we knew he did the perks. I mean, I know there's a lot, but sheesh. And then she says at 10 to 22 AM, "You just effed up." Dom says, "I was about to do the yelling at me being mean." Kenzie says, "You effed up. Now stop texting me." Dom says, "Why were you flipping out on me to hurry when your mom is going anyway? I was only going so you were safe and not alone. Maybe if you weren't mean, I would have just came." She says, "It's still unsafe with just me and my mom. I thought you were going to protect us, but I guess that's really hard for you to do." Okay, where's Natalie and Kenzie going that they need protection? Where are they going to? Oh, the photo shoot? Ew. Yeah, Reese, we're gonna talk about that later. I haven't after dark posted, but we'll see what time. She says, "Don't worry, next time I'm just gonna rely on you because you can never be on time or care about what other people need to do." Dom says, "I was on time. You were just being mean, so why would I go? The area isn't just bad, just close to it is. You got two adults with you, and I didn't even have a 9 millimeter ammo on deck. I'd have to find some." Kenzie says, "No, you were not okay. No, you were not okay. Time. If you were on time, you would have walked out when I said I'm here, but you were washing your feet. Like, why? Just stop texting me. Dom says, you just told me you were leaving at 10:20. I was walking out the door at 10:22, but you were being rude AF. So yeah, I'm not going to go. Dom says, what do you think this is? You get more with honey than you do with vinegar. Be nice, be nicer, and you'll get more from me. This is like a little over a month out from the crash. Kenzie says, are you going to be mean when I come back? Dom says, I wasn't being mean. You were. Kenzie said, I wasn't. I told you to hurry because this is important. And then you were not hurrying. So I kept telling you to hurry. That is not mean at all. She says, I'm on the way home. Dom says, when, okay. That was at 3:03 p.m. And then it jumps to the 21st. Dom says, when are you going to be done? Just got home. Question mark. Kenzie says, you did not. Dom says, get me food. She says, you did not. Dom says, I'm about to be on the way back. She says, you did not. Dom says, my dude didn't need, and I got pulled over. So I had to take my shit home. She says, Dom says, can you get me a Classico? Kenzie says, you got pulled over? Did they give you a ticket? Dom says, yeah, and yeah. Kenzie says, WTF, for what? Dom said, speeding. Can you get me a Classico, and how much longer should I come? Right now? Kenzie said, just come now, so I'm not waiting. Dom says, okay, I'm gonna roll a quick joint, then come. What the hell is a Classico? Dom says, Classico? Kenzie says, Kay, be nice to me. Dom says, you be nice. She says, you can also apologize. She says, where are you? Are you close? He says, on 71, like 20 minutes. She says, Kay. They've been telling each other to be nice to each other. So that's when you can tell things are like bad. I know. She's thirsty for delusional fame. I thought love was enjoying someone, but all these two do is fight. Yeah, they do. That's all it is. She says, Kay. She says, you're late at 7:05 p.m. She says, where you at? She says, where you at? Now. Now. She sends now 3 more times. Then she says, can we shower soon? I feel gross. Dom says, yeah, we'll go back and shower in a sec. He says, come over on the 22nd at 9:44 p.m. It wasn't that the same day? No. She says, WTF? She says, K. He says, no phone. And then she sends a picture of them at, I think it was prom on the 23rd. She says, how long? He says, I have no idea. She says, where you at? I can't tell what it is. That's a picture of a paper. She says, what do I get? She says, answer. He said, I've never been there. Oh, it's a menu. She said, pick one, I think. Dom says, calamari or firecracker shrimp. He said, babe, your hair is all over the bathroom floor on the 24th at 5:21 p.m. She says, for real? He says, on the sink too. Kenzie says, babe. Dom says, what, babe? Kenzie says, I didn't know. She says, I low-key want to go to the club with them again. What do you think? Dom says, do what you want, Kenzie. You know what'll happen. Dude, okay, wait. Dom is even irritated. There's There's hair on his floor. He's like, ew, the hair. And then she said the club. And I'm just wondering, like, is she talking about that club where she like met up with the old guy or something? Or she did something, right? He says, do what you want, Kenzie. You know what'll happen. Or no. Stop. She's going to the club again. Was it the club or wasn't she doing something inappropriate? The feet guy? Was it the feet guy? Do they live together? But pretty much. Um, he says, do what you want, Kenzie. You know what'll happen. She says, what will happen? You will be mad at me? Question mark. Will you be mad at me? Question mark. Yes or no? Dom says, "No, I'll end up breaking up with you. I already told you this." He did. We just heard this in the last live. Remember, he was like, "If you're going to be doing that scandalous shiz, I don't want to be with you." Oh my gosh, this is terrible. Like, I don't care what she does, but like the fact that they've been in this relationship for 4 years and like that's what she wants. That's what she wants to go out and do that after Dom's changed so much. He says, "No, I'll end up breaking up with you. I already told you this." Kenzie says, "You will break up with me if I go to the club with them." She says, "Answer fast. Like, why are you being dry? I know you're on your phone." Like, question mark, and she puts 10 question marks. He says, "Maybe." She says, "Yes or no?" He says, "I'm driving." She says, "Not maybe. What the F?" She says, "Like, this is just not it. If I was going to cheat, I would have done that. You know, I would never do that. I'm not you. I wouldn't break your trust. I don't cheat. I never have." Dom says, "That's not what I'm worried about. If you cheated, I just lose all my feelings for you anyways. I'm not worried about anything, actually." He's like, "Actually, you can go. Like, let's just go in so we can break up." She thinks she's Paris Hilton. She does. I agree. She does whatever the hell she wants. Okay, so then why can't Dom do whatever the hell he wants? He says, "I'm not worried about anything, actually." She says, "Because I'm having fun?" Question mark. So I can't go have fun because you will lose feelings? That's insane. I don't get why you're with me if that's easy to lose feelings for me. Like, do you not understand how hurtful that is? I don't ever say I would lose my feelings for you. What the F? No, you do say that, and you say that you're gonna put him in jail for being a pedo when he's not because he dated you when you were 17. Oh my gosh, I can't stand her. Thank you, Bablet. Again, Carlina says she's always degrading him every chance and she's disgusting as to everything. Yeah, I hope she's rotting in jail and I get this petition going, please, Melly. I'm working on that. RIP Davion and Dom. I know. I'm sure it's like so sad for Miss Russo around the holidays too. Like, Miss Russo, come to Mellyverse. Thank you, Bablet. I appreciate you for the super chat. He said he would lose all feelings if she cheated, actually. I know. I think he already lost all feelings. She says, "I would never say that. I would lose my feelings for you. WTF." She says, "Dry" at 6:25 p.m. She says, "Dude, WTF? Answer. Answer." Dom says, "I'm not going to keep going over this. You make your own decisions. I'll make mine." Kenzie said, "Answer." This is not an answer. Answer my question now. So she questions her message where she said, "So I can't go have fun because you will lose feelings." And then she questions the how hurtful comment. She says, "Why are you ignoring what I say? What the F? You got 1 minute. Answer now. Answer now. Why am I not seeing someone typing? If you don't answer, I'll lose feelings. What the F is your issue? Text back right now." She says, "I'm for real mad. You embarrass me any chance you get and try to control me and F with my head. Like, why are you like this? That's insane. I don't get why you're with me if it's that easy to lose feelings for me. Like, do you not understand how hurtful that is?" She sends that 2 times. She says, "I don't ever say I would lose my feelings for you. WTF." Dom's so over it. He says, "Kenzie, you know what happened last time? I almost lost you and you almost lost yourself. And you know what? And you know that I'm not going to lose you again. I'm going to break up with you way before that could ever happen." Kenzie said, "That's insane." Whatever, whatever. The same message, how hurtful that is. Oh my God, she keeps resending the same thing. She says, "You got 1 minute or I'll just lose feelings." Dom says, "Okay, then go. Lose feelings. Clearly, you can't think straight when you're with them." Kenzie says, "I can. I'm allowed to want to party with my friends. Stop trying to control what I do. You can have trust or not." Dom said, last time you were hanging out with your friends, you turned to a completely different person and you let some weird dude F your feet. There it is. There it is. I can't believe this. Block her, Dom. I know. I know. I know. Ew. I know. Kenzie, you control Dom. I know. I agree. So he brings up the feet thing. Kenzie says, I let you go to the club with your friends. Well, I've told you the same. Why would I just change? I am myself. Oh, there you go. There's her true self. Not the footers. Yeah. Yeah, the feets. She had feet sex. Dom says, so Kenzie, make whatever decisions you want and I'll make mine accordingly. With an other person, I guess. Kenzie says, why the F can you not believe me or trust me? This is not me. This is you being insecure as F. So we can try this again. Dom says, okay, LOL. Kenzie says, can I go? Yes or no? You're insecure. You cheated on me 4 times. You're still insecure because you think I'm going to do something back. She says, it's not it. This is mentally abusive. Dom says, Kenzie, make whatever decision you want. I'm not going to fight with you over it. She says, this will always be a fight. You are trying to control me and manipulate me into not going by threatening to lose feelings. I do not do this to you. You say you're gonna call the police if he's with other people, usually 50% of the time. Ew. There it is. Says Evie. Dom says, Kenzie, do whatever you want. Start acting any type of different. I'm not giving you a chance. I'm putting all your shit out on your mom's doorstep. This is the 24th. Holy balls. It's like a month out from the crash. He says, I'm putting your shit on your mom's doorstep. He says, yes, Kenzie, I want to be in a productive relationship, but if you can't be that person, I will break up with you. Kenzie says, good manipulation skills. So you would rather me just sit at home, watch TV all day than go have fun with my friends. You can call that a productive relationship. That's effing toxic. Dom says, no, Kenzie, you can have fun with your friends you want as long as they're not prostitutes. If they are, I'm going to end up breaking up with you. She says, so can I go or not? Does she like not understand English or something? Like, what the hell is he talking about? I mean, she talking about. Like, she doesn't do that to him. She would never let him go out with friends like that. She would make it hell for him. She says, so can I go or not? She says, effing answer. She says, I'm not doing this manipulation. This is not it. Kenzie says, you would be good at manipulation too. You are the one who reads all the books on how to control and manipulate people and have the power. That's not what the books are. Like, the books are freaking self-help books. He says, yeah, I get all the books because I realized you were manipulating me. Oh. He says, you stopped lately though. But then you were manipulative. You know who you were friends with. Kenzie says, dude, I don't give a F. You're done controlling me. I'm going to go do whatever I want and you can either trust me or just end it. I would never cheat on you because if I was going to cheat on you, I would have already done it. You're the one who cheated on me 4 times. She says, I'm going to go be myself and only that. Dom says, Kenzie, I do not give a single F about you saying I'm controlling you, about you saying cheating on me. I don't give an F. You did prostitution. That's what I have problems with. She says, you're the only one stopping me from being myself. Go, Dom. I know. She's deaf, illiterate. I know. Yes. Yes, Carlina. She's so stupid. I know. Natalie dropped her on her head when she was a baby, said Alicia. Yeah. She says, you're the one who stopped me from being myself. Dom says, Kenzie, go do whatever you want. If your shit is on the doorstep, you know why. She says, so I will go, you will throw my stuff out. Is that what you're saying? Question mark, question mark. She's sending a bunch of question marks. She sent like 10. He says, if I feel like it, yeah. She says, nah, it's going to be a yes or no. He says, if I feel it is time, then yeah. She says, you're not going to manipulate me. This is toxic. Tonight, if I go, will you throw my stuff out? Yes or no? Yes or no? He says, I won't throw it out, but it'll be set very gently at your mom's doorstep. She says, you have 3 seconds to answer the phone. You got 2 seconds. Because I know you didn't just hang up on me. Dom says, I told you what it was last time. She says, answer. It's now 7:05 p.m. She says, right now, in caps. Then she says, right now. He says, I'm done talking about this. She says, I am not. He says, I'm going on D&D. She says, if you do, we will have issues. Dom says, you're spamming me. Kenzie said, this is abusive. Then answer. Answer now. If you just stayed out, this wouldn't be an issue. Be a man. Stop being immature AF. Dom says, I'm not going to keep repeating myself for hours. Be a man. Like, whatever, Kenzie. He says, I'm not going to be repeating myself for hours. She says, now answer the phone. Dom, you deadass have 3 seconds. If you do not answer the phone, the only one being the worst version of themselves is you, because you don't care that you hurt me and control me and manipulate me. Do you think it's cool to do this to the person you love? I'm going back. I will be back tonight. He says, the mother of my kids will be better than this. She says, if I'm not the best for you, then end it right now, because I do not give a single F. If you don't think I'm the best, then leave me now. All you do is hurt me. The reason you have trust issues is because of what you did to me, and you know what you did. Dom says, I don't have trust issues. I have rules. She says, you do. You're not going to make rules up about my life and my own person. I'm my own person. I'm not an effing prisoner. Foreshadowing. Wow. Speaking it into existence. That's crazy. She's like, I'm not a prisoner. And then a month later, she basically is a prisoner. That's crazy. Let her expose herself. I know. He called her out, her trashy behavior, and she couldn't handle it. She says, you were so effing insecure. It's actually depressing. No wonder you don't smile in any pictures we take. Dom says, Kenzie, I'm not saying any of that is pretty simple. You make friends with thoughts. I'm a break up with you. She says, you do not care that you hurt me. You said countless hurtful things. Dom says, maybe I don't smile because you judge me about anything I do. He says, I'm done texting you. You can do whatever you want. She says, be done. I'm going to now, and I'll be home tonight. Dom says, you get broken up with, you know why. She says, put any of outside of my stuff and there will be put any of my stuff outside and there will be a problem. You just said I can do whatever I want, and I'm going to. You can trust me and be a good support or boyfriend, or can be toxic and threaten me and manipulate me. Dom says, fine, I'll give it to your mom. She says, you do not care how I feel. If you give my stuff to my mom or anything, take it out of the house, there will be a problem. Maybe you could use your communication skills instead of just trying to manipulate and threaten me. She says, we could easily solve this and make it okay for both sides, but you just want to be an effing dictator. If you send that emoji again, you're getting blocked. Dom says, okay. She says, you can send full sentences like the grown adult you are. If you do not start sending full sentences, I swear to God. Dom says, I said what I said, and you know what it is. Kenzie says, I'm going to go tonight, and you're going to say nothing is going to change, and you're also going to apologize to me when I get home. Dom says, don't act like you don't. She says, you got 5 minutes to call me because you have already ruined tonight. You have 5 minutes. This is not you. This is the old cheater Dom talking. She's so stupid, dude. Old cheater Dom. Now she's going to be like, you want to cheat on me because he doesn't want her to let her go out. Like, I know. Her threatening. I know. She said, keep this up. You don't care that you hurt me. I tell you and you say nothing. Dom says, okay, Kenzie. She says, because you only care about you. Why do you not care? Why do you not care that I'm saying you hurt me? What happened to you? We were broken up and I came to be there for you when your mom was sick. No, you didn't. She's such a liar. Remember, she was like, I'm going to be mad at you if you don't come over here. They got into a whole fight about it on the last live through those texts. She's such a liar. I can't stand her. Kenzie says, you're never there for me. You only care about yourself and your rules. If you think good and home is being there for me, you're a joke. Oh, if you think food and a home is being there for me, you're a joke. Yeah, that's being there for you. Like, what the hell? He paid for everything and bought her everything she wanted. Yeah, she blew up the phone when yeah. And when his dog was hurt, remember? She like didn't want them to be there for them. Let me get a drink of water. Yeah, I know. She says, you have terrible communication skills. Am I invisible or something? I know you didn't just leave me on red. And it's 7:16 p.m. She says, proves my point. You do not care that you hurt me. You do not care about me. You like the idea of me and holding me hostage alone in your house. The fact that you even leave me on red when I say that is insane. Who the F are you? Dom says, no, Kenzie, I do, but I hate the idea, the way more of you changing. Kenzie says, when did this evil take you over? This is not you. You don't. If it takes me 6 times telling you and I get no answer, that's all I need to know. Dom says, you know you can always chase money. It's never going to run or dip out on you. Hostage, I know. Hey, great mom. She deserves every minute she spends in prison for these messages alone. I know. Hey, Michelle. Oh, yeah, I already read that one. Then you can get the F out, says Leisha. Not to mention he buys all her clothes and gives her all the rugs. He says, you know, you can always chase money and it's never going to run or dip out on you. On the other hand, she says, just like I didn't run after you cheated on me 4 times. He says, but your feet ran right to that dude's doorstep the second we broke up. She went over. Kenzie says, to be honest, now I'm thinking I should have because clearly you don't know who I am or have any respect for me. Dom says, no, 24 hours, not even 24 hours for you to let him F your feet. Kenzie said, it's okay. Act like I had any sort of feelings for him. I don't even know his name. Dom says, yeah, that's worse. Kenzie said, if you have such an issue, leave me. Dom says, the mother of my kids is not a prostitute. She says, actually. Dom says, no chills with them. Kenzie says, if you're not going to be there for me and show me love and caring, then leave. One more unloving, disgusting response, then just leave. Dom says, the thought of a prostitute holding my baby makes me want to unalive myself. Oh my gosh. Mackenzie may be right. Mellyverse, Dom a weirdo for not wanting his girlfriend turning. No, I don't think he should be okay with it. And she doesn't even let him touch her. I know. She is lucky she did not get unalived. I know. He says, makes me want to unalive myself. She says, clearly you want me like a doll. If you think I'm a prostitute, then leave. Who the F said I want to have a baby with you? Do you think I want to have a baby with someone that talks to me like this? Imagine how they would talk to me during my pregnancy. If you can talk to me like this now. Sorry, I have to cough. No way. She needs to be gone. I know. John was so done. I know. She says, "Do you think I want to have a baby with someone that talks to me like this? Imagine how they would talk to me during my pregnancy. If you can talk to me like this now." You don't understand how effing repulsive you sound. This is literally mental abuse. You're harvesting my amazing energy. She says, "Any woman you say that, you will think that's absolutely the most disgusting thing ever." Dom says, "Okay, bye." She says, "I'm going to give you one more chance." Dom says, "Nah, bye." She says, "Do you think I'm a prostitute? Yes or no?" He says, "And this doesn't hurt my feelings. Bye." She says, "It was supposed to hurt you just like everything you have said to me the whole day has hurt me. Why should I care that after you hurt me, you don't even care and acknowledge that what you said has hurt me? Doesn't it hurt?" She says, "You dead ass better answer now. Be an effing man. Get off D&D and use your communication skills. You're seriously messing up. I'm going to give you 5 minutes to fix then and call me. Dom, answer right now." She says, "It's okay. Just let me chase and do all the work when all you are is mean and manipulative. You don't love me. If you loved me, you wouldn't treat me like this or talk to me like this. You just hurt me and hurt me and hurt me over and over. Tell me I'm changing when I've only ever been myself." Dom says, "Kenzie, if letting some dude F your feet was you, let me know then, because I'm breaking up with you." She says, "I thought you already did. You said bye and went on D&D." He says, So effing that dude feet was you? You have always been you?" Kenzie says, "You can trust me to have a good night, and I'm obviously not going to change. I'm a different me every single day. You can trust me and let me have a good night, and obviously I'm still going to be the same me, or you can manipulate me and pick your poison." He says, "Okay, well then we're done. If so, I'm packing your shit." She says, "We're done? After I just said that? Are you serious? You consistently hurt me." Dom says, "Shit's getting packed." She says, "Are you serious?" He says, "Yes. You just said that was you and always gonna be you." So yeah. Kenzie said, "It's not. I said I'm different every single day. You can either understand and we can talk about this later or just do it." She says, "Answer now. If it's that easy, was it love? Clearly you had no trust in me. You're really going to throw everything away just because of this? You don't even trust the words that come out of my mouth when I've been loyal for 4 years." She says, "Are you serious? Dom, answer. You're really going to do this right before my grad party? Wow. Stop being immature. Just answer. Answer me," she says at 8:10 p.m. "Answer me now. Answer. Stop being immature." Dom says, "I don't know, Kenzie." Kenzie says, "Talk tomorrow or tonight. Be mature. You know how I am. If you can't see that, then you don't know me." Dom says, "Go to your house tonight. I'm not gonna leave your shit there." She says, "So talk tomorrow? Question mark. Yes or no? Answer. Why are you not answering? Answer." He said, "Sure, maybe." She says, "Nah, I'll be over tomorrow morning." She says, "Okay." She says, "So I can't come back to your house after?" And it's now 10:31 p.m. He says, "When would that be?" She says, "I don't know, late. But if you leave a key, I can get in." Dom says, "Let me know what time. I'm going to make music." She says, "Just leave a key hidden. Just do that. Just do it. Okay, just put them somewhere and let me know. Let me know where. Let me know." Dom says, "When are you going to be back?" She says, "Later. So just leave a key." "Where's the key? And did the pen run out or die?" She says at 11:49. She says, "Let me know. Let me know." He says, "I don't know which one. I haven't left the key out. I haven't went to bed." She says, "Leave one. Let me know where." No, Dom, don't let her come back. Hey, Shug. I know. Do not let her. I know. She's getting more insecure with him. I know. The most dangerous time in an abusive relationship is when the victim tries to leave. I know. Like, why is he going to let her go out and come back and leave a key because she wants to go do her nasty stuff and come back at like 5 in the morning? No, Dom, no, don't do it. She says, let me know where. Let me know. Let me know where. He says, I'm gonna put it out before I go to bed, probably. She says, do it. Let me know where. And then she sends a picture of something. She says, how do I do it? Wait, she says, how do I know it died? Sorry. He says, is it blinking red? It's now midnight. She says, no, blinking nothing. He says, when you hit it, is there a light at all? She says, no. He says, then it's dead. It needs charge. She says, oh, WTF. I charged it for so long. He says, I don't know. That's weird. She says, I don't even know. He said, those ones, you can see how much oil in it either. She said, it was blue when I was charging it. Dom says, like when I bought it, you couldn't even see through that little hole. Kenzie said, oh, he says, did you take the other disposable? She says, I only found one. He says, oh, damn. She says, the whole one. He says, yeah, I should have got you the other one too. She says, I only found one. She says, it's kind of boring right now. He says, yeah, club isn't that fun unless you're really effed up, it seems to me. She says, LOL, true. It smells like really bad weed, like 5 a G, 3 a G. Dom says, you can't even talk there. It's kind of just bumped to music. She says, it's bad music too. Dom says, you just don't feel the DJ then it trash. Kenzie said, Fanto was the only good song. We in the DJ section. I'm with Kaylee. Dom says, Barley? She says, no. She says, let me see. She says, Park. Dom says, never heard. Is it nice? She said, it's get-go. Only, it's get-go? Does she mean, what does that mean? She says, only white people here. Dom says, WTF? She says, I know. She says, I'm just chilling. A photographer took pictures of us, though. And then she says, where's the key at 1:24 a.m.? The key. Where? If you didn't, let me know. Dom. Dom. So no? Did you not? Dom. Why are you still on D&D? Like you should have told me about the key. Why? WTF? Dom, I do not want to sleep here. It's now 2:44 a.m. She says, Dom, you just did me so wrong. WTF? Dom, WTF? You said you would tell me. Dom, WTF? Yeah, what the F you did me wrong for no reason. Dom says at 5:56 a.m. Sorry, I fell asleep. She said, said you would do it before bed and you didn't. Where's the key? This is not it. Where is the key? Wow, maybe if you weren't on D&D, you would be helpful right now. Dom, for real. WTF. WTF. Wow, I'm going to come back and climb a window if you don't answer soon. This is why you don't go on D&D for no reason at all. I know you're up. Why the F are you doing this? Like, why? I'm starving. I haven't ate all yesterday. I just found food and now you're just ignoring me. She says at 9:20 a.m. She says, God, can you just answer? WTF? Like, why? I know you're awake. Do not do this. Dom, you need to answer right now. I can't believe you. This is the old you. You're the only one acting different. The Dom I know I would never do this to me. I thought this D&D and ignoring fake energy was over with. You need to answer right now. You have till 10 to answer. Wow. 10 minutes, she says at 9:51 a.m. She says, you're doing me so wrong for no reason. WTF. If you're awake, I'm going to be so mad. What the F? Like this must be a joke or something. I seriously can't believe you. No effing way. I'm on the way. Wow. Yeah, I'm mad. If you do not let me in, we're done. She says at 11:22 a.m. Why doesn't he just freaking call oh my god, he can't call the police. I'm, like, screaming. I would have seriously been like, "Excuse me?" If you text me one more time. He didn't wanna give her a key. He totally did this on purpose. She's stressing me the F out. Psychopath. You guys. Yeah, right? He should have called the cop. This is insane. He should have had someone come get all his stuff, all the weed, all the firearms, and he would have just this is, like, so insane. This is on the 25th. So, like, a month out from the crash, she's spiraling out. Yes. That's exactly what I feel like this is. She is spiraling out of control. She says, "If you do not let me in, we're done." Like, I'm so serious. She sends 3 Ps. He says, "I'm about to go back to sleep." At 11:54 a.m. She says, "LMAO." He says, "Do you want your food?" She says, "That would be a bad idea. You're gonna open the door right now." He says, "Why are you so demanding?" She says, "Why are you so fake and unloving?" He says, "I'm not." She says, "And unemotional and uncaring." He says, "Sorry, I didn't want my girl hanging out with prostitutes." She says, "I guess we both have questions that will be unanswered. I don't give an F. You're not my dad." Dom says, "We 4 years into this relationship. I'm not going to let you start acting like how you were before." Yeah, but your parents don't know what she had you do. Kenzie says, "You're right. You're not gonna force me to do shit." Dom says, they would wanna unalive her if they knew." I hope well, obviously, Natalie Shirilla knows that is this the fight he recorded? It might be the one where she was that he recorded. This might be the time. I would have to go back and look at the dates. I think it is. I have the video of the fight under my video section, the call. And Natalie and Steve, yes, your little pumpkin was having sex with her feet. Okay, I just had to say that. Thank you. Dom says they would want to unalive her if they knew. Kenzie says, and your parents don't know what rugs you're taking and what you do for your job. Keep threatening me. Dom says, I'm not. I'm just saying, like, you have your dad on your ass way more if he knew. Kenzie says, open the door now. I'll beep the horn. Dom says, if you beep the horn, I'm deaf not letting you in. She says, then let me in now. It's honestly crazy how you love to see me hungry and sad. Does this make you happy? Dom says, I said I would give you food. She says, you want me to shrivel up alone on your couch? I want to relax while I eat. Not sure what you're not getting. Dom says, Kenzie, there's always going to be problems if you're hanging out with someone who got a dude to F your feet for money. That's simple. Like, no if and ands or buts about it. I will always have a problem. So you figure something out or we're going to be done. She says, open now. Literally right now. Right now. Right now. Right now. He emphasized his message. She says, if you do not open the door, you just threw 4 years away. You think I want to be dealing with a manipulative, abusive boyfriend right now? Dom emphasized his message about her friends. She says, you can't even communicate without getting offended or defensive. Dom says, there's always going to be a problem. I told you this. Kenzie said, there's always going to be a problem because I'm never going to get rid of good friends because you have a problem with them. This is how abuse starts. Now you're going to let me in the house right now. No, the abuse has been going on and you've been committing the abuse on Dom. Like, she says, now you're going to let me in the house right now. He says, I will always have a problem with her and you know why. Kenzie says, I don't care. He said, it's pretty simple. She's Kenzie says, they aren't your friends. She says, and you don't get to control my life. Wait, didn't try to do the exact same thing with Blair? I know. The horn beep. She's so dumb. I'm gonna give you 15 times to change your mind. The judge should have known all of this. I know. I know, Mallory. You are the most manipulative. This is maddening. I know. Didn't the friend set it up or did she just blame her? I think it was both. The friend set it up and Kenzie liked it. Hey, Shug, you, Kenzie, are the abuser. I know. I know. She says, and you don't get to control my life. He says, so goodbye, I guess. She says, you can either trust me or end it. Is she dumb? Like, we know she's dumb, but like, dude, he just said he's done. She says, so what you're saying is you want me to start beeping on the horn? He says, you beep the horn, I'm deaf not letting you in. She says, you already aren't. You're going to let me in now or I'm doing it now. He says, you're not making me want to let you in anymore. She says, I don't care. You were not going to originally let me in. He says, you're making this worse. She says, so are you. I'm waiting at the window so you can let me in. Ooh, this must have been the day. This must have been that day that call. She says, okay, then break up with me. I'm just going to keep whatever's in my trunk then. She says, keep being this fake shit. She says, keep being fake to somebody who's been loyal to you. Dom says, oh, okay. So that was at 12:09 p.m. And then it jumps to the 26th. So they obviously made up the next day. He says, what are you wearing again at 11:52 a.m.? She says, white Skims. She says, just come here soon. I'm in a bad mood. He says, my mom got us tequila. She says, I love her. LOL. Should we make margaritas with agave? Dom says, and limes and lemons. So yeah, we could. Kenzie says, my mom is making lemonade. We have glasses, I think, too. Dom says, I gotta stop 2 places and shower. I don't think my hair needs maintenance, so I should be quick. Just gotta find a fit. I don't know if I want to wear white, so if it's gonna rain, I'll see what I have though. She says, just get here fast. She says, I'm for real annoyed. Why? I wear Skims. She makes me. I know. I love Skims too. Beep, beep. I know. Way to go, Natalie. It must be her graduation. I wanted him to be done with her so bad. She says, I'm for real annoyed. She says, please. He says, I'm heated now. She says, why? He says, went to Danny and he wasn't even home. She says, WTF. Dom says, and didn't have money or anything. Kenzie says, why did you tell him to come then? What a R word. Dom says, I texted him 20 minutes ago that I got to stop somewhere, then be to him. She says, and he said, okay. When you coming to bring to gloss also? I think it's a typo. Dom says, no, he didn't text back. I started calling him when I was on the way and he couldn't answer like a little bee and ended it and texted me. Kenzie says, WTF. She says, where are you at? How many fries should we get? Dom says, who's going to eat? Who's going to eat them? Kenzie said, probably just us. Dom says, we only need one for me and you. Kenzie says, so like 2 orders? She says, how long? Dom says, getting in the shower now. She says, you still have to shower, so I should just go to town hall by myself? Let me know. She says, we have agave here. She says, answer. She says, I guess we can't get town hall. Only if you would just hear your phone. You would be helpful. Please, can you answer? She says, Dom, please. She says, answer. She says, why are you not here at 1:56 p.m.? She says, come now. He says, I'm going to be there ASAP. About to stop at the store and be over. Got to get the straight party pack ready. LOL. Lot of Patron and limes. She says, come. WTF? He says, question mark. She says, I thought you got Oh, okay. So that was on the 28th at 7:26. He said, question mark. She says, I thought you got mad and slammed the door when you walked out. Dom said, Blair is already getting Chick-fil-A. I guess let's just not get free food since you have to watch them make it. Kenzie says, oh. Dom says, let's just choose to spend money. Kenzie said, I said you can just go. I won't eat. I don't care that much. I can just eat something at home. She says, go, quote unquote, do the method. Like, what the F? Don't try to make me feel bad because I want to see how clean my shit is. Dom says, you go to every restaurant and get your food. Next time, ask to see Lucas Kitchen or Town Hall. Kenzie says, or keep trying to make me feel bad. Why do you think that's okay? Oh my gosh. She went to Chick-fil-A and was like, let me see what you're cooking with in the kitchen or what? What is Town Hall again? It's like a restaurant, right? I wish she would have blocked her ass and left. I'm so upset. Thank you, Tiffany, for being here. Now she wants to watch people cook her food. Yeah. She says, why do you think that's okay? He says, I'm just saying, like, we can't get free food, but just make me do more. Kenzie says, dude, just go get the food. I'm not that hungry. I don't care. Dom says, well, I want you to eat. I don't want you to be hungry later. Kenzie says, I'll just eat an apple or something. He says, okay, Kenzie, you just want chicken or pasta? My mom is making dinner. Let me know. She says, maybe. What do you think? He says, you'll like the chicken parmesan. Want to try it? She says, I don't know. What is it? Chicken parmesan? Dom says, chicken breadcrumb, then pan fried, then thrown in the oven with pasta. LOL. She says, so gluten. Dom says, or you want grilled chicken? She says, maybe. Is it red sauce? He said, no, we can use our breadcrumbs. You like red sauce? She says, I don't know. He says, you had it the other day. It's the same sauce. He said, it's one of my favorite meals. I promise you'll like it. You can't be scared though. You have to trust me or you're not going to like it. Let me know ASAP so we can figure it out. It's getting late. He says, plus, I have sales and I'm sitting over here with my mom waiting for you. Kenzie says, fine. She says, sorry, I'm getting ready for my photo shoot. Dom said, isn't it Thursday? Kenzie said, it's tomorrow. Dom said, so this is what's going on. Breadcrumbs won't be gluten-free. Everything else will float your diet. Kenzie said, where are you at? He says, home. She says, inside. He said, how is the photo shoot, Nug? Oh, okay. So wait, she said inside. And that was on the 28th at 8:23. This is like literally a month out from the crash. He says, how is the photo shoot, Nug? She said it was going perfect. You're gonna love this. She says, I'm going to town hall. He loved her message. She says, want to go to Kid Cudi? He said, of course. She said, we need tickets ASAP. She said, you effed up, but that doesn't even mean anything to you. No, it doesn't. Just don't even try. He says, how did I F up? I told you, stop putting your feet in my face and you keep doing it. Kenzie says, I don't care. You effed up. You should care. I forgot you don't keep your word, so I'm not sure why I'm shocked. Dom says, what does keeping my word have to do with this? And no, Kenzie, you don't care. I told you stop or I'm gonna get up and you kept doing it. Kenzie says, you didn't say stop or I'm going to get up. Dom says, yeah, I did. Kenzie said, you said you would be caring and loving and you have not been loving in days. This is on the 29th at 11:26 p.m. Because he doesn't love you anymore. Yeah, she was putting his feet in his face. Like, I wonder if they were like cuddling or something. And, you know, she was being annoying. Oh my God. I know. I know. She says he's like not loving to her anymore because he doesn't love her anymore. That's literally what it is. Ew, we don't want her feet in our face. Disgusting. She likes that foot action. Okay, if you like feet, I don't judge you, but like not Kenzie's feet. That's all I'm saying, babelets. I don't judge. Do what you want, but not Kenzie's feet. Yuck. Um, he said, she said, "You said you would be caring and loving, and you have not been loving in days. My boyfriend is supposed to be attracted to all of me and not make me feel gross about my feet. He doesn't like your feet because he knows what you did. He doesn't want your feet in his face because you had your feet on someone else's pee-pee. Like, what do you expect?" Like, you guys, what the hell? Remember asking her dad to rub her feet? I forgot about that. We're gonna have to revisit that. We are. We're gonna revisit that maybe tomorrow. Like, is she doing this on purpose? Does Daddy Steve know that your feet were on someone's and that you wanted him to rub it? Ew, Melly, I can't with the feet thing. Dude, I'm just saying it's what's happening. It's what's happening. Okay, let me get a drink for slurring. My boyfriend is supposed to be attracted to all of me. Oh my God. Abuelita is killing me. Melly, I'm like feet phobic. Don't come for me. I'm not into it. Like, if that's what I'm good. I'm grossed out. She says, "My boyfriend is supposed to be attracted to all of me and not make me feel gross about my feet." Dom says, "Kenzie, feet are feet. After you're everywhere all day, it's not like I wouldn't touch my feet right now. If I did, I def wash my hands." She says, "I don't care. Just stop. You already did enough." He says, "I wasn't trying to do anything." She said, "I don't care." She says, "I'm going to leave." And then this is the 30th at 10:23. I think we okay, she says, "I'm going to leave." He says, "Okay, Kenzie, be mad. You know it wasn't about your feet being gross." "Yes, it was, Dom. Don't lie." Kenzie says, "So you're not going to apologize?" Cried laughing so hard. Robert's like, what? She's doing this on purpose. I know, Sarah. I'm gagging. Me too. Kenzie, shut up. Vanjie's like, so gross. Did I miss much? Um Someone tell Jakey. Yes, Jakey, I saw your email by the way. I'm not very good about them, but I will get back to you. But yes, you did miss much. Oh my god, this is funny. She says, "So you're not going to apologize?" She says, "This isn't a very good relationship if you can't apologize when you hurt me." He says, "Kenzie, you should be the one apologizing." She says, "So you're not going to take in how I feel and apologize? This isn't a very good relationship if you can't apologize when you hurt me." And Dom says this long ass message. "So let me get this straight. I asked you to watch a show. You rudely wave your feet back and forth in my face. I tell you to move them. You proceed to wave your feet in my face. I can't physically see the TV. So how would I watch the show? I get up, get my joint, go sit back by you, and you're taking up the whole couch. So I sit on the other one. Then you demand I turn the show off. That sounds like you're just giving me a hard time." Sarah Beth, on purpose. If I can't put my feet in your face, we will have issues. Prosty feet. Oh my gosh. No. Oh my god, that's hilarious. She says, "Yeah, I gave you a hard time because you made me feel bad about my feet. And I was half asleep. I don't want to smell joints. You know that." He says, "Kenzie, how am I supposed to watch a TV show when I can't see?" Kenzie says, "How am I supposed to want to watch a TV show when you can't even be respectful about how I feel?" Dom says, "I mean, I literally physically couldn't see the show. You were disrespectful first. You show you should have got your feet out of my face." Kenzie said, no, I wasn't. I was putting my feet on you, so maybe you would rub them. But I forgot. You find my feet disgusting. Yes. He does find your feet disgusting because they were on another man's schwang or whatever they call it. I don't know. Gross. She says, "You find my feet disgusting." He says, "I don't find feet very charming." He says, "They're feet. But out of all the gross feet, you do have the best ones." She says, "I don't give an F. You're supposed to love every inch of my body." Dom says, "I do, but where's the gross feet coming from? Like, yeah, I told you I don't like feet, but like it wasn't about your feet being gross. Maybe you should have asked me to massage them instead of forcing them in my face so I couldn't watch TV. Like for real, and I'm supposed to apologize?" Kenzie said, "Since you find it so hilarious, yes. I love to know that you find me being hurt super funny." Dom says, "That's not what I'm finding funny, but okay." Kenzie says, "I'm going to the" what is that? "I'm going to the Amish?" I don't know what that means. She says, "Answer now. What if we went to Mohican with all of them for like a weekend?" Dom says, "Maybe." She says, "We should." She sends a picture of like an Airbnb, and now she's sending clothes. I don't know what that was a typo. He says, "Where are you?" She says, "I'm at the vintage flea market." Dom said, "I thought that was the Amish place." Oh, Amish. I thought it was a typo. She says, "I am." He said, "Is it dope?" She said, "Yes, I bought a ton of honey." He said, "That's hella." She said, "Middlefield flea market." She says, "On the way home." He says, "When you be back?" She says, "Soon." 6. She says, "Wait, no, maybe 7." He says, "I'm hitting some plays. Door is locked right now." She says, "I'll be home at 7." He says, "Bet I'll be back before that." She says, "Okay." She says, "I'm hungry. Look at my Insta story." He says, "Me too." He says, "Whoa, LOL." She says, "The honey." He said, "That shit looks good." At 6:30, she says, "Chicken and rice or chicken sandwich." He says, "Either sounds good. Actually, I can do sandwiches because I gotta marinate it. Because I can't marinate it." He says, "If we do chicken and rice, you wanna get, like, broccoli and carrots and shit for it too?" She says, "Pick one." "I want both. I'll eat more rice, though." She says, "Yes, yes, can you go to Allison's?" She said, "ASAP. Get broccoli." He said, "Allison's is closed." She said, "Bruh." Then Heinen's. "You gotta go ASAP for chicken and broccoli." Uh, Kenzie, why are you such a lazy bee? Like, you go. You're on your way home, stop at the store and get it. Who does she freaking think she is? Not when you got the bumps on you, but I know. Ew. She says, "For chicken and broccoli." He said, "Heinen's closes at 8." He says, "We're fine." She says, "Well, I'll be home at 7:09." Then she says, "Rosie goes so slow that time goes up. Like now we're at 7:15. I showed them your song." Dom says, "I just made some fire." Kenzie says, "They like your song. They said it sounds just like you." Dom says, "I'm gonna send you this other one." He sends a link to his song. She says, "I like that so far. I'm gonna listen in my car." She says, "I'm about to come over." She says, "Tell me what kind again?" He said, "Breast." She said, "Breast? How many?" He said, "A pound or two." She says, "Pick one." He says, "1 pound, broccoli and carrots." She says, "I'm here." She says, "How long?" Question mark. "Where you at?" And then she sends, "Okay." And then she sends TikToks, and then we're gonna end it there. And now we're gonna be in July. So we're gonna make July a second live. Yeah, we're gonna make July a second live. And this is it. This is the last month. And we still got quite a few pages to go. This isn't even a relationship. I know. I know. Ah, Melly, no. I know. I wanna separate it because this live is already 2 hours long, and it's already late. I know you guys are gonna all be wondering what happens. I'm sorry, babelets, but yeah, we're ending tonight and we start officially next live July, and this is the last month. This is the last month, the day, that month of the crash where they get murdered. So it's like 900 more pages. So we will finish the last month all in one live. And by the time we finish that live of the text readings, I will have the next text reading to go. So it'll either be the ones with her friends or we're going to revisit the ones with her dad. So yes, tomorrow I will be live. I What's tomorrow? Wednesday? Yeah. Why am I all confused? I definitely will be live tomorrow. So knowing what happens, I know. And then after that, we're going to revisit. I think I want to revisit the ones with her dad first, and then go from there. So cliffhanger, beep beep, yay, we're there, y'all. So close. I know it seems like it's not that much, but 900 pages is a lot. That would take us like another 2 hours. So shout out to you guys. We might be doing a Melly After Dark. Yes, tomorrow will be an evening live. I should be live. Where in the world are you guys? Like what time zone? I'm Pacific. Is that so? Tomorrow I should be live a little bit later, but not so late. So like 5 p.m. my time. So yeah, I'm gonna look into that. I see what you guys are saying in the chat. Yes, yes, yes. I'm in Ohio. Okay. Central time. So like I guess 8 o'clock your guys' time. I know it's a little later, but I have to actually do some stuff tomorrow. I was able to stream all day today, and that's my goal. Really. I plan to be streaming all day like here soon. So definitely tap the like button, hype it up. I love you guys. I work nights, so it's perfect. Okay. So once I'm available during the day, then we can read the texts and all the texts and stuff during the day. And I will try to get more Kenzie content because we're going to keep on going. I have a lot of interviews I still want to do and like all this stuff. So we're not done with Kenzie. Thank you for scooping and reading that. Yes, we did 3 lives today. Earlier, we did some jail calls. And then earlier, prior to that, we did Karen Reed. We read the new lawsuit. So if you're into the Karen Reed lawsuit, please definitely be sure to scoop us. Yes, we'll do Kenzie tomorrow to finish it, I promise. But then after that, we might take a day break and hit into another case. And then we'll start with Kenzie all over again with everything else I have. I still have all the social media and all that. So I was thinking maybe make him into a video and we can review videos because I can't exactly show all of her social stuff because she's like hitting the bong, eating mushrooms, and YouTube will just not have it. So I'm going to have to like blur some of those parts out. So we'll see. Anyways, hit the like button on the way out. I love you guys so, so much. And I will see you guys tomorrow night. Bye.